big on Puffy, especially after what's come out about him, which was rumored for a long time. But that Biggie verse is one of the best verses of his career, yo. I love that verse. You can't, even if you don't like Biggie, you can't deny that that isn't fire. It's crazy because when we found out that Akira Toriyama passed away, I think it was on March 9th, which is the anniversary of Biggie's death. And, oh man, I remember because I was going to post like the greatest rapper of all time died on March 9th or whatever, which is what Cannabis said about him in another song. But then the Toriyama death happened, hit me out of nowhere, as well as we're still reeling from it. Welcome. It is July 4th, 2024, 7/4/24. We are halfway through the year, folks. Can you believe it is 2024 and we are halfway through the year? Hope you're having a good day today, man. It's Independence Day in America. Nice and early to do a stream. Most folks are off today, so good. If you're catching this stream on the replay, thank you for watching as well. We're talking about Dragon Ball Daima, the video where Daddy came in clutch for you on Tuesday with new information about the villains. We're going to talk a little bit more about that here on the stream to clarify some things, as well as what I want to do with y'all is I'll be taking calls from the Discord if you're a tier 2 member, but also if you have any theories on what you think or what you want to see from Dragon Ball Daima, let me know. So if you have any theories or any ideas of what you want to see from Daima, let me know. All right, so dang, Bob Black Sheep gifting 10 Geekdom 101 memberships, yo. Thank you so much, man. Look, guys, Bob Black Sheep did a real cool thing for y'all. If Bob Black Sheep gifted you a sub, just kindly leave a thank you, because that is him spending his own money to give you guys that. And that's a very nice thing. I did want to say one thing quickly before we get into this Dragon Ball talk. I wanted to say that, well, first of all, join us on Saturday on Twitch. You don't want to miss this stream. This Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern on Twitch, I'm going to be finishing up the Piccolo Daimao arc, the Demon King Piccolo arc, the first Demon King introduced in Dragon Ball. Obviously, way before Darborough was even thought up. So we'll be doing that this weekend, as well as make sure that you're there. Even if you haven't come to the previous streams, the last 3 episodes of the Piccolo saga are epic. Absolutely epic. What a final battle between Goku and Piccolo. What would be the foundation for future Dragon Ball fights, not only for the rest of the original Dragon Ball series, but into Z, some parts of GT, and some parts of Dragon Ball Super. So, always good. But yeah, we'll be there 1 p.m. Eastern. What I wanted to say is, I am so blessed and I am so thankful. I wrote a post on Twitter about it. 9 years I've been around, man, and I look at like everything that's happened in my life since I started this YouTube channel and all the great things it's given me, dude. I was a fucking immigrant kid who didn't speak English till he was 6 years old because I was Spanish and I spoke Spanish. Well, I still am Hispanic. I'm Cuban. Spoke Spanish with my mom and dad. And they never would have thought that I would be able to get to this point at where I am in my life, in my personal life, thanks to all the gifts that Toriyama has given us and the work we put into Dragon Ball, or to the channel about Dragon Ball. So I wanted to say that to say this to y'all, man. If you're listening to this and you're young, if you're an immigrant or not, hard work and being a jack of all trades pays off, man. One of the best things you can do for yourself, y'all, and do it this summer, learn a new skill. Even if it's one you might not use, learn a new skill or a new hobby. Learn an instrument, a musical instrument. Learn something like educational. Learn about how to build a business. Put something good in your brain, man. Something that's going to be useful for life. Learn about AI. Whatever you think is going to help you in life, right? Really, really learn it just on your own time, on your own free time, bro. Because we'll have plenty of time to play video games when Sparking Zero comes out and Dragon Quest III HD 2D. But, man, seriously, like, learn a lot of different things because each one will help you and make you a more well-rounded person. So, trust me, I'm giving you a good ism right now, man. You want to have a nice brain, good instincts, and learn as much about stuff as you can because you don't want to end up being a bitter, near 50-year-old man, you know, crying on the internet all day about how nobody recognizes him and begging for money. You don't want to be that guy, bro. You don't want to be a pathetic human being like that, man. You want to really excel, you know, and the more you know, the more you can. So anyways, guys, I would like you guys also this weekend, do something nice for someone else that you don't know. If you see somebody on the streets and you have a little bit extra money, give it to them. Or buy them a sandwich. If you see somebody at Starbucks and you have a little bit extra cash, maybe somebody behind you, pay for theirs. Like something nice. If you can't, you can't. But do something nice for someone else because it really does feel good. So we're going to take calls and theories about Dragon Ball Daima. I'm assuming most of you already saw the video that I broke on Tuesday with the exclusive information of the Demon Realm Civil War. This is something Toriyama has not really done. Like I said in the video, we've seen betrayals. We have seen 17 betray Dr. Gero in the dub. We've seen Babidi get turned on by Boo. He deserved it. But it happened. Now Toriyama with Dragon Ball Daima has given us a fresh new world to explore, at least with the first arc. Because I don't know how many arcs this show's going to be. It could be one big arc or it could be several little arcs. I don't know. But a brand new world to explore, the Demon Realm, something we know very little about. And it's given us new characters and this Demon Realm Civil War where these demons are infighting for, the throne that Darbura left behind. Also, I want to tell you guys something that I said it in the video, but I want to make it very clear to you guys, okay? Because some of you guys probably have questions. I'll try to answer what I can, all right? The little guy, the heir to the throne of the Demon King, he is not the one that creates the new Majin Buu, nor is he the one that turns Goku into a kid again. That is not his idea from what I was told. Now, I haven't seen episode 1 yet with my own eyes. Most of it will be clarified by episode 2 at the earliest, but he's not the one who did it. Remember, there's people plotting against others in this series. Goku and the Kais get caught up in this like civil war that ain't got shit to do with them. And the only reason they're caught up is because of what happened with Majin Buu and the Buu arc and Babidi. So the Daima is a more of a sequel to the Buu arc than even Battle of Gods. It's kind of like how the Cell Saga is a sequel to the Red Ribbon Army. Or like Frieza Saga, the sequel to the Saiyan Saga. You know? I like that. I like when events happen in Dragon Ball that have consequences. We're going to take some calls here in just a moment. Make sure that you drop your super chats if you can, and I'll answer those. Those get priority, and we'll talk about theories and stuff like that. The Demon Civil War. So this whole story, basically, I don't know if they're going to reveal who the true villain is right away. That new Majin Buu that I mentioned in the video, I know its name. I can't say it because I promised I wouldn't. I gave my word. But I can tell you this. That new Majin Buu is not the main villain. I don't think Toriyama's going to reveal who the main villain is of this story until the story goes on. It's kind of like how when you first start watching the Android Saga and you don't know anything. Let's say you do your first time watching DBZ. And you think the villains are going to be the androids. and then Cell comes out of nowhere, and then Cell becomes the villain, like that. With the Frieza saga, it was almost from the very beginning close enough to it that you knew Frieza was the big baddie, right? Same thing with the Piccolo saga, the moral arc. You already knew. But I think with this one, we're not going to find out right away. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they did what the Buu saga did, which is, remember, the Buu saga did not reveal, because Majin Buu was in an egg. It wasn't until the middle of the tournament when Popovich attacked Gohan that we actually found out what was really going on. And Supreme Kai explained to Goku about Babidi and everything going on, right? So I think it'll be a situation like that. So this new Majin Buu is, yeah, Bindle in the right now live said the new Majin Buu is probably just an obstacle. I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Let me real quick. Hold on, guys. I have to refresh my little thing here. It's I was having some issues. There we go. Because it was technical difficulties, but I should still be good here. Okay. So I'm gonna bring in some people here, including Gaming Hub UK. But first, he wrote. This is what he wrote. He said, "Hope you're doing okay and happy July 4th to you." Yes, it is July 4th. Happy Independence Day to those who celebrate it. Make sure you leave a like if you're stopping by. It's going to be great. Can't wait to share my thoughts later in the stream, depending on schedule. I'm going to bring you in just a minute. Give me 1 minute to get through these questions real quick. Xavier says, my theory is for DBS, Lord Frieza wanted immortality because he knew Lord Beerus and Majin Buu. What do you think? Oh, you're talking about Dragon Ball Z. Why Frieza wanted immortality? I think that could be the case. I always thought, when Toriyama first wrote Dragon Ball, he didn't think about Beerus back then. He didn't even, the idea of Beerus wasn't even his idea. That was a Toei idea. Beerus is not even a Toriyama character. He changed the Beerus they came up with into his Beerus, but Beerus was created by Yusuke Watanabe, right? And then Toriyama changed him, and we got the Beerus that we have now. But the idea of it being somewhat retconned to where, thank you, Sega Herman, to where he was getting immortality to protect himself from Beerus, that certainly does make sense. That definitely makes sense. For certain. Madishia and S. Punj. That's a hell of a name, man. I hope I didn't butcher it. I'm really looking forward to Daima. Want anything Dragon Ball related? I'm hoping SS4 is introduced in it. What do you think? I think it's a possibility. We'll talk about transformations as we go through. Robert Wolf with a $10 holla. He says, hi, Geekdom. I wanted to say I'm sorry I've been bashing Daima. Just hope you know nothing personal. I'm just really frustrated by the series direction. I'm sorry I didn't keep up the good work. Well, first of all, you don't have to apologize for having, you don't have to apologize for having an opinion on not being interested in Daima. That you don't have to apologize over. It's fine. My thing is not so much with people not being hyped for Daima. It's people who have only seen, and this is not entirely their fault. It's not entirely their fault, but we don't know anything about Daima outside of what I've revealed and what they've revealed. There's nothing else that's come out yet, right? And it's just what they revealed plus what the video I came out with 2 days ago, right? So I'm saying that because people are already jumping to conclusions without seeing a single episode. And while I understand that, people got to stop doing that shit, man, because the same thing happened with Broly and Superhero. And both those movies have big audiences. You know what I mean? I'm about to bring my guy in here. I got my Discord over here, so that's why I'm turning my head, just letting you know. I have 3 monitors. So, just my issue is people whining about it till this day. We found out Daima, I broke Dragon Ball Magic in September of last year, and it was officially announced in October, right? October 2023, that is 8 months ago. Grown-ass men complaining for 8 months, that's where I'm just like, come on. You know what I mean? That's almost as bad as people stalking me for years, like, or stalking anybody online for years. Like, you gotta let it go at some point and just accept that we're getting what we're getting, right? Same principle. Let me get to this. I'm gonna bring in some guests here. Actually, let me bring in my guests now so they're not waiting, yo. Let me go ahead and hang on here. Let me bring in Gaming Hub. Okay, Gaming Hub. I'm bring both y'all in. Okay, JD and Gaming Hub UK, you are live right now.
Hey, what's up?
Hello, good evening.
Hey, what's up? Let me actually let people know. Hold on. I'm letting everybody know we're taking calls. So we're talking about Dragon Ball Daima today. Let me actually, now that you guys are here, we're gonna have a discussion, you and I. But first, I want to get to this question, and it's actually a question. I want JD to chime in, and maybe Gaming Hub UK. I wish Jordan was here. I want to get his thoughts. We actually, hold on. Actually, we got Heesh. Let me bring Heesh in too. We can do 3 people at a time. Heesh, man, I just brought you in. You have to unmute. Hey, all right. So here's what we're gonna do. I want to take this super chat and then have a discussion with y'all about this question because it actually is a good question, and I'm considering making a whole video on this because it's a very, very good question. So Bray B Kid 15 says, "Do you think future Dragon Ball projects will end up like GT now that Toriyama is no longer with us?" I'm not sure what he means. I think he's talking about like if it's going to end up being like hated on like GT. And I think it's a possibility. I think if they don't get great writers, and I mean better writers than Toyotaro, if they don't get great writers, it is possible that Dragon Ball is going to fall off because of how much Japan values Toriyama. But if they get good writers, they can continue his legacy. What do you think? Hubuk, you go first.
Right, so I think that moving forward from Mr. Toriyama's death and whatever comes out, that being from Toyotaro or Toei, um, it is a possibility, yes, that there might be hate because it's not really from Toriyama. Now, I am very optimistic about Toyotaro because, again, he has been working under Toriyama for nearly 10 years. And I believe that at this point, fans should trust him enough to manage the manga that he has been learning and improving as he has gone. So I feel like we should give him a chance. But coming to Toei side of the things, it is very difficult depending on how they go with things because uh, it depends if they ask Toyotaro to continue with it, because at the end of the day, Dragon Ball is Toriyama's product, and then
Toei would have different writers than Toyotaro, I would assume. I would assume
yes,
probably the ones that did Super, you know, I guess.
probably so. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Hopefully
and
Nagamine. I hope he's involved.
yeah, but also like the future isn't really that bad if you look at it. Like
Well,
still we have
we don't know yet, but I
the
see your point. Yeah, we don't know. Heesh, what do you think?
Honestly, dude, I think that regardless of whether or not, like, Toriyama is there or not, it's still going to be Dragon Ball. I think that people are going to watch it regardless. And, like, Toyotaro has worked alongside Toriyama, I think, enough to where, like, he can really grasp, like, the way that he writes. And I know that might be a controversial take, but, like, know that,
He
the
also said the
the way that
acolyte. He
it's
also said the acolyte's well written, bro. So I fear the future of Dragon Ball Super.
that's a scary that's a scary thing. That is a very scary thing. But ultimately, like, I think that he's able to separate the way that Toriyama would go and write things versus, like, how other people would go and write things. I mean, he's obviously still going to take inspiration from all other like, aspects of media and implement it into Dragon Ball. But
I turn
like, that's
Heesh's
a that's a Toriyama thing to do.
I turned Heesh's mic up, y'all. I don't know if maybe he sounds more clear now. Yeah, and then JD, what do you think about that question? Are all Dragon Ball projects doomed to end up like GT now without the man?
It's hard to say because we still don't know the extent of what Toriyama has left behind, whether there's some unfinished manuscripts, unfinished character designs, little bullet points of things he wanted to do. And there's still stuff that he did that just has not actually entered into the main product. You know, like so, like you have Dragon Ball Online stuff he worked on, but that hasn't. Some of that's been pulled into Xenoverse and stuff from Heroes, but there's stuff that he's already done that kind of fleshes out where we're at right now in the current story, which is like we're getting closer to the end of Z or about to push past it. There's stuff that like they could literally just wrap it up and just go right to end of Z and just mention that Black Frieza and some of these other stuff that we wanted to see just after the end of Z. So at least the super story and everything that's happened since the Renaissance, at least that stuff had a pretty high involvement with Toriyama. I think depending on
the issue too is that even though Toriyama might not be the best episodic writer at this point in his life, he's still the lore master. He's like George Lucas. He creates the world. So even if Toriyama's not writing episode by episode or chapter by chapter, he still invents a lot of the stuff. He invents everything in Dragon Ball, really, almost everything. Not literally everything, but like, you know what I mean? And without that guy to create these worlds, I'm not saying they can't do it. They got competent people, but he's like the genius mind,
I think that we'll have to see where this plays out, but I think it's going to be well received, as it progresses. I think when the manga resumes and then hopefully, eventually the anime, I think, we've seen a lot of the movies that Toei's done, a lot of them didn't have a lot of Toriyama involvement, and a lot of people still love them. Even GT, a lot of people love GT, and Toriyama did not have little to no involvement, So I think
a lot,
at the end of the day,
but a lot don't like GT. That's the thing, In fact, the unfortunate,
but it makes money.
I
That's
think
the point.
It does make money because people like to pick out things about GT they love, like Super Saiyan 4, Baby, and those are cool things. You can credit Nakatsuru for that because he came up with those designs. So since he's involved in Daima, don't you think he's going to come up with new designs? I mean, having Toriyama and Nakatsuru as a team, I think people have to understand, having Toriyama and Nakatsuru as a team this time is different than last time because Toriyama was only involved in the early stages of GT. Here, he has already given them the entire story, and they have to figure out how to piece it together for episode. So if you really believe that Daima is GT 2.0, then that would mean that GT 2.0 is Windows 7 and GT is Windows Vista. Because if you've got Toriyama and Nakatsuru working together now, if it is a GT 2.0, which by the way it's not, but if it is, maybe it'll be a good version. You ever think about that? Maybe instead of automatically shitting on it, maybe it's like, there were some things I liked about GT. Let's see if they can bring those ideas and make them better, which they've already done by making everybody turn to a kid again. In reality, I believe the reason why they're doing that is two reasons. Number one, I think it's because Kid Goku is nostalgic for Japanese fans, and it's the 40th anniversary, and Goku began as a kid. It has nothing to do with GT. And number two, because, we haven't seen Kid Goku in a long time. And number two, because they wanted to depower Goku. I actually think that Goku in Daima either isn't as strong from the very beginning and won't be until he becomes an adult again, or he will have to sort of relearn what he already knew and figure out ways to get stronger as a kid, which is why the Super Saiyan 4 theory that people have had makes sense. Daima could be a situation where Kid Goku can't go Super Saiyan, but maybe they're going to figure out a way to write it to where Kid Goku can turn into a great ape like he did in Dragon Ball for the nostalgia side, but maybe then he can mutate into Super Saiyan 4. They would have to call it something else, Super Saiyan Primal. This is not necessarily a theory that I had. It's an idea that they could do. In which case, yes, I would concede this is GT 2.0, but it's a lot better. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I would have to even concede, like, dude, if Super Saiyan 4 is in Daima, then we can say, okay, fine, it's GT 2.0, but that does not mean it's bad. But the Demon Realm is something I've wanted to look into for a while. Let me get this next super chat real quick, y'all, because we spent a lot of time on that question. Xavier says, since Lord Frieza knew of Lord Beerus and Majin Buu, does that mean he was lying to himself about being the strongest in the universe? No, bro, it's because when Toriyama wrote the Frieza arc, he didn't come up with Majin Buu or Beerus. But if you want the in-universe answer, the in-universe answer is that every single villain says they're the strongest in the universe. Beerus even was called that, and Whis was stronger than him. So it's just it's a recurring thing in these shonen shows for every villain to say that. It's almost like a trope, if that makes sense. Dan says they really are completing the trifecta with bringing a version of Boo back. Frieza, Cell, now Boo. By the way, Gogeta and Broly movie greater than UI Goku. If you're talking about if I like Gogeta more than UI Goku personally, the answer is not really. I kind of like both. You know what I mean? Now, if you're talking about who's stronger, as I always say, before you ask a question, so you save yourself the super chat, check the channel. If you go to my channel right here, all you gotta do, bro, is very simply type in Gogeta versus Ultra Instinct Goku. That's all you gotta type in, bro, instead of asking me. I appreciate the question, but you'd be surprised. And look at that. This video right here, Mastered UI Goku versus Gogeta Blue Fight Breakdown. I am a big fan of that video because in that video, we not only tell you who would win the fight, but we also go over the strengths and weaknesses. So watch that video. It's only about 17 minutes. That'll explain everything to you in detail, and why we thought that. So, real quick, Kyle McCaskill said the same GT creative team made Path to Power because they had time. It wasn't the same creative team. It was a similar creative team. A lot of the same people were on it, yes, like Nakatsuru. And they did start doing Path to Power before GT started. So Path to Power was a project that began before GT began because they were going to do a 10th anniversary movie anyways. And then GT came along. So when that project was completed, they shifted over to GT. Some shifted over before the movie even came out. And then Xavier the God says, I feel like DBS made more people into GT fans. That's because of people saying that because DBS wasn't good, that GT is better. I don't know about more people. I don't know. I've seen some people just proclaim GT is better, but they might have already been GT fans beforehand. So I don't know.
No, they definitely were. 100%.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, because I've noticed anybody who says that GT's better than Super was a GT fan already. Now there probably are some people that didn't like Super and then decided to try GT. Unfortunately, it's a very small amount of people, and I don't like that because, once again, like what I said on Twitter, if you're a Dragon Ball fan and you really, really are a fan, like a real hardcore fan, no matter how much your friend tells you to skip GT, you want to at least watch it to see if you like something and see what you like. The same should go for Daima. I find it hard to believe somebody can be a fan of something and then question why somebody else wants more. Goku becoming a kid again might not be what you wanted, but it's still more Dragon Ball. And then what happens if you like it and then you end up regretting what you said or even loving it more than Super? And the other thing that I'm kind of sick of seeing is people saying they want Black Frieza. You're going to get Black Frieza. You're going to get both. You're getting Daima and you're getting Super. This is like if I go to a restaurant and they offer me 2 pieces of steak, filet mignon, and I say no, I only want the baked potato. Like, what the fuck, bro? Can't I have like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean, right? You get my analogy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do understand why people are very like they've been making us wait for a very long time. You know,
well, they're just horrible at promoting, really.
Well, not even just that, but also the manga's
Especially
not even
Super
continuing on.
Broly, yes.
Like
Kaboot, man,
it
wait
ends
your
off with the
turn.
Black Frieza arc. We end off with the Black Frieza arc. You know, they go into the Dragon Ball superhero prequel, then the adaptation, and then the sequel arc. It's like they didn't like we waited. I don't know how long it has been. So I understand why people are very ambitious towards getting Black Frieza, and we're still waiting.
I don't think ambitious is the right word.
Or they're impatient. Like they've been patiently waiting for Black Frieza. We just want it already. And now the manga's been off for 4 months now. No one's
You
doing
ain't
manga.
you ain't got to tell me, brother. Trust me, we've had that
Yeah.
conversation. Yeah, and I don't understand why Toyotaro has not done the manga still. I don't know what's going on over there. I hope we get some answers. We probably won't. They'll just start the manga up again, and we won't know anything. Hubuk, what were you trying to say?
Yeah, I do apologize if I was interrupting there.
Yeah.
I was trying to say, uh,
Blah, blah, blah,
what I was trying
blah,
to say,
blah, blah, blah. How do you like it?
uh,
No, go ahead, bro.
I do think that, yeah. No, I do apologize. Um, so when it comes to like him not doing the manga, I believe it is also because I think getting permission because again it is Toriyama's family's decision on letting him continue, and I think that's why there's a little bit of hold up there. Might be wrong about it. And the other thing is when it comes to having a new form for Goku, as a substitute for Super Saiyan, a primal form is cool, but I don't want to like Super Saiyan 4 because again, it doesn't really incline with the Ozaru thing. Like it.
Like I
for
said,
a-
it's something
for a
people want.
specific-
It's something that people want. A
Yeah.
lot of people want it, and a lot of people have wanted it for a long time. And it's something that I wouldn't be surprised happens. And the thing that's beautiful about it is Super Saiyan 4 either way is not going anywhere. One of the questions that
Yeah.
I have been asked multiple times, and I don't know how many times I can fucking say the same thing over and over again. Super Saiyan 4 is going to be in Sparking Zero. People think it's not going to be. GT will be in Sparking Zero. I don't know if it's DLC. I don't know if it's base game. But GT will be represented in that game. So we're going to get a game that's going to have. We're going to get. With Sparking Zero, we're going to get a game that's going to represent Dragon Ball characters, Z, GT, Super, and Daima. You don't want more characters to like. Again, this is why the people that are shitting on Daima, I'll never understand. Because even if you don't want to see Daima, don't you want more characters? Don't you want to play as these demons in Sparking Zero? Who wouldn't? What if they're cool characters? Like we don't even know what they got cooking over there. I mean, I know some shit, but the Demon Realm stuff, I think, is exciting because it's new. It's different. It's not like we're going to different planets, So
Yes.
let me real quick, Kodak, I'm gonna talk to you. I'm gonna ask y'all a question here in a minute, and then I gotta bring in some other people who are waiting. But first, because I know JD, you have a lot to say. I know you're gonna theory craft for us here today. JD always has a lot to say, sometimes too much. But thank you, Codex Pop. He leaves a compliment. Dragon Slayer says, as long as Toei does not do to Dragon Ball what Disney did to Star Wars, then I'll be happy. I do not want Toei to turn it into a soulless cash grab now that Toriyama's gone. Well, I've got news for you, Dragon Slayer. It's been a soulless cash grab for years already, buddy. Just because Toriyama's involved does not mean it's not a soulless cash grab. However, not everything that's a cash grab is bad. Now, I want to say something that I want you to think about this, my brother in Christ. Think about this. I don't understand why people think that Disney and Toei are the same company because they're not. The people that run Disney and the people that run Toei are very different politically. The Japanese people are way more conservative than even some Americans. You understand what I'm saying? The word conservative applies for them like extremely, right? So you're never going to get like any kind, like those kind of politics in their shit. You'll get something like it, but you won't really get that kind of stuff. It'll be sort of the opposite. And that could be bad. That could be equally bad. But they're not the same company. So they're not the same. I don't expect that to happen because even though there are politics in some of Toei's stuff, Dragon Ball's not really political. It's an action show. You know what I mean?
I do want to say one thing. I can absolutely understand why you say it's a cash grab, but soulless. Come on now, bro.
Well, not
Dragon Ball Super
entirely.
Broly.
No, not entirely. But I mean, you know what I mean, bro.
I mean, yeah, but okay, I would say that Dragon Ball Super specifically, that definitely had more of a cash grab aspect.
I'm not
to it because
saying I hate it.
They didn't put in like as much passion.
I'm
No,
not-
I know. I know, but I just think that I don't know. I just feel like the term soulless doesn't give the right impression that you were trying to convey.
Well, soulless, I think, okay, if the definition is, well, George Lucas is not involved in Disney Star Wars, and Toriyama was involved in Toei Dragon Ball, then at that point, yes, it would be completely like Toei did it right because they got the original creator involved, and thus, because of that, Dragon Ball will have more soul. That is unquestionably true. He's saying what's going to happen after now that Toriyama's passed away, and the only thing we can hope for is that Akio is going to keep the soul there. Let me get this super chat here from some other dude, Splat. He said, "We've got the trifecta. What about the legend of the OG Raditz, bro? Have you been talking to Masako X, the man who eats fruity pebbles and champagne instead of milk? Come on, bro." He's talking about true life. He's talking about true life, bro. But man, who wipes his mouth with $100 bills? When's he coming back? Bro, I don't know if True Life's going to have a career, bro. But you know what? Splat, you did pop a lot of people on the call. So I'm going to bring in the other two guys. But first, so what I'm going to do is, okay. First of all, let me finish up with you guys, okay? First of all, JD, after seeing the video from Tuesday, and you and I having a conversation about it, I know you have a lot of theories. You've been talking a lot in the server, and I did ask if there was a design, like if they saw the design of the new Majin Buu, and said they did not. So I'm guessing that'll be revealed at San Diego Comic-Con. What I think they're going to do is they're going to show like pieces of art, a little bit of story, like Toriyama art, a little bit of story stuff, and then another trailer. That's my guess. So what did you want to say?
Well, I do want to say just on the whole, you dropping the idea of this Boo Max or this new similar design kind of character. I am a little bit on the fence on what I think Toriyama's going to do with this, because we've seen his history with recycling designs or ideas. When he brought back Frieza, he just gave him a new coat of paint. I thought that was a little bit too simplistic. And then when we had this new Cell, Cell Max, I think he went out of his way, and I think he did a pretty significant design revamp. I'm curious what they're going to do with this new Boo. Like, is it going to be like a Kid Boo that's blue? Is it going to be a Kid Boo that's red? Is it going to be like a character like maybe more in kind?
It could be a totally different look. I mean, I think it'll be like the gum, like the gummy, like the blubbery like texture. But it could be a whole different look, is what I'm saying.
Like, will we get some elements from maybe Sandland with Beelzebub? like something like that.
Beelzebub, bro.
Beelzebub.
This motherfucker said Belter Bob, bro. This fucking guy said Belter Bob. Beelzebub. He said Belter Bob, bro. What is Belter Bob the Builder?
There's definitely inspiration. Bro, there's 100% inspiration from Sandland and Beelzebub.
Did you guys hear this man say Belter Bob, bro? It sounds like a beer from Australia. Yes. Okay, so I don't know about Beelzebub, even though I would love to see a cameo of Sandland characters. Since people think that Dabura is fucking Beelzebub's dad, which it's not, it's Lucifer who looks just like Dabura. What I would love, bro, is if they straight up were like, oh yeah, Lucifer's my brother, and they redesigned and they reused the design, bro. Imagine if they revealed that, which wouldn't make any sense because Sandland's not in the Dragon Ball world, a different world altogether. So, yeah. So, what do you think about the Demon Realm Civil War?
I am totally psyched for that because
bro, when I first heard that, bro, my pee-pee stood straight up. Go ahead.
I'm excited for that. I really think I definitely with you saying that the little mage looking character is not like he's not the final villain.
He is not the final boss like The Rock.
I am excited because that just means that Toriyama's got a lot more secrets in his pocket. I want to see something like a demon tournament, like something like the Dark Tournament from Yu Yu Hakusho. I want to see something like that as like a little mini arc as we get into the series, with Goku. And I think what's going to happen, at least in a couple episodes that I think is going to happen is the two characters, the little guardsman characters with the poles, that Toriyama based his avatar off of. I think one of them, or there's going to be a character that's named. I think it's going to be like a Goku rival kind of character. Like Goku's going to befriend one of those people from this demon village thing, and they're going to help him on his journey to get to the that big demon castle thing that we've seen in the trailer. I think that's going to very kind of like
a
a
JRPG.
Yeah, yeah.
JRPG.
But you could tell that that's something that I think Toriyama would have.
It's the
done.
most Dragon Quest thing in Dragon Ball. You know what's funny? I don't know if people know this or not, but Toriyama is a big fan of RPGs. And even though this is wild to me, even though Toriyama was the lead designer and artist for Dragon Quest, he played the games when they came out. Like, imagine, that's kind of cool though. Like, imagine if you design characters for a video game and then you get to go home and play the fucking game. Like, that's dope. And he did that because he would talk about Dragon Quest as he was writing Dragon Ball and Shonen Jump. He'd have an editor's note. He'd be like, I got to the end of Dragon Quest 3 finally. I can finish it. And it's like, it makes me laugh and smile because Toriyama was a big kid at heart. Motherfuckers, these fucking Americans don't fucking understand this man. Like, the Toonami fucking has fried their brain cells. The reason why Goku's becoming a kid again, dog, is because Toriyama always wanted to be a kid again, bro. The man plays with model cars in his 50s and 60s, dog. The motherfucker, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's grown up, but he's still a big kid. And you know what? If you still watch Dragon Ball, if you're watching Dragon Ball in your 30s and 40s or even your 20s, you're a big kid too. So what the fuck is the problem? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I also wouldn't be
Mervin.
surprised.
It's Mervin said, Bob the Builder, motherfucker. You're not allowed to be that funny again, bro. Go ahead. I just wanted to tell you he said that.
No, I've been checking the chat, but I was gonna
Belter
say,
Bob, bro.
hey, at least I didn't say Hercule.
Come on, man.
But I think I want to see something like a demon fusion, right? You know, you have that Makaio-shin looking character with the earrings. I wouldn't be surprised if we see like I wouldn't be surprised if he actually betrays the little mage character. It just seems like something a demon or some kind of Makaio-shin would do.
Well, I'm gonna say this again in case you missed it. I'm sorry, I did not mean to interrupt you. I was just being funny, but I'm gonna say this. That little dude is not the final boss, bro. I think that little guy is going to end up becoming Goku's friend. I think the demons are going to betray that motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's going to end up teaming up with Goku. And then the story's going to be that Goku makes friends with everybody. Namekians, fucking, he makes friends with fucking androids. He made friends with Boo. He made friends with Beerus. He made friends with everyone.
He's gonna purify the demon realm. He literally purified Majin Buu, and now he's gonna purify the demon realm.
I'm just saying, like he's gonna. Well, I don't know about purifying the entire demon realm, but he's gonna purify some of them. But the thing about the demon realm is that, and this is something I really want people in the chat because I haven't talked about this yet. I'm about to give you another scoop right now. Not everyone in the demon realm is evil.
It makes sense.
Which makes sense.
Not
'cause, like,
everyone. I'm gonna repeat it again.
Not everyone in the regular
everyone
realm is good.
Correct. The demon realm. You know what the demon realm really is? Even though obviously, because of Judeo-Christian Abrahamic religions, demons are associated with like hell, but the demon realm's not hell. In Dragon Ball, the demon realm kind of feels more like an alternate dimension. That's really what it feels more like. It's not like it's just the place where everyone's evil. I'm sure the dictator of the demon realm is evil. But let's not forget what happened to Darbura in the filler episode or the filler scene in Dragon Ball Z where he's in heaven hanging out with the women, bro. Remember that? That was funny ass filler, bro. That wasn't in the manga, but that was funny ass filler.
Another thing people forget is that even the Kaioshins themselves, a lot of them from different universes, are extremely shady when it comes to their actions. Like, if you have watched Super, you would know that. Like, how, which universe was Sidra from? I think 10?
I don't remember. No, 9. Yeah, 9.
Yeah. So even those guys, they were very shady. So it's not like every Kaioshin themselves is good. Like, look at Zamasu, God's sake. But it's the same thing with the demon realm. You can apply it that, not everyone there is good or bad. it's like it's both at the same time, you know. So really, it should
Also,
not really be that
Yeah.
confusing.
I'm not gonna drop a scoop because I've already said this, but I think a lot of people forgot, including Quaman, the video he did. Did you guys forget what I said back in September? I think most of you did. There's one piece of the puzzle that people have forgotten that I said in September. Did I not say that Goku and Supreme Kai would have two new people journeying with them? Those have not been
Yes.
revealed yet. And those are people that are likely either from the
That's
demon
right.
realm, they're either from the demon realm or they're other deities. So, yeah, that has also not been revealed yet because I don't think they meet them at the very, very beginning of the series. I think that's something for like, I could be wrong. I haven't seen anything like, you know what I mean? But
I think
It's like
You think
It's like Dragon Quest.
yes,
Like
look at
actually more like
Dragon
Dragon
Ball.
Quest 2 when you're gathering your party members over time.
yeah,
I
It's
think
same
yeah,
like Dragon
yes.
Ball,
I think
where
one of those
you
little
meet
villages. Oh,
different stories. Sorry.
Dragon Slayer. Well, first of all, Slick and Mean says Belter Bobby Graham crackers. By the way, and then hold on. Dragon Slayer says, I'm curious about something. Does every universe have its own version of the Demon Realm? If you saw the video I did on Tuesday, I literally posed that question in that video. And I even said, I would assume that to be the case, but that's not necessarily true because it hasn't been said. So I don't know. I could say probably, but we don't know. If I sit here and I said I
We
guarantee
know at
it,
the very least Universe 6.
probably,
Universe
yeah,
6 has to guarantee it because
because of the
they have the same
mirrors.
structure as 7.
Yeah, right, exactly. So that is
Yeah,
true.
exactly.
Yeah, that is true. And you know what? A fucking Universe 6 version of Daima, like a story with the demon, not about the Goku becoming a kid again. Like put that aside for a minute. That's not even important. Like Goku becoming a kid again is just a curse that's being put on them just to give people nostalgia for fucking Dragon Ball 84. It's literally supposed to just give you nostalgia. That's it. And to depower Goku. That's it. It's not really that different. It's still Goku, right? But putting that aside for a minute, like a Universe 6 story about that demon realm, I'm saying, would be interesting as well. If it's any similar to this one. I don't know.
I think we might see Good Boo have more of an active role in the series.
Bro,
I mean, the fact that
they tease that a lot and never give it to us except for the Moro arc.
but here's the thing. I think with a story like this, where it's literally centered around, Boo and Demon, I think it's perfect. It's a perfect place to have him have something more than just being like a side character. And with the Daikaio element, like if we can see the Daikaio element, like maybe appear in Daima first before we see it in the Moro arc, that I could see that happen.
Lucky Luke says, will there be only the demonic realm? Well, you're unlucky, Luke, right now, my friend, because if you watch the video that I mentioned on Tuesday, I said the demon realm might not be the only realm they visit. But what's cool about the demon realm is one of the vehicles that Toriyama designed, and here we go with more exclusives, one of the vehicles that Toriyama designed is specifically meant to be used in the demon realm. So that is another specific. And then Merc says, why haven't they revealed Gohan? I don't know. Gohan is one of the biggest mysteries about this show. I genuinely have no idea. I wouldn't lie to you about that. I do not know, bro. I should ask, shouldn't I? All right, before I bring in Slick and Freddy, because I'm gonna put JD and Kubuk back in the other room. What are y'all's final thoughts before we move on?
Well, one of my final questions also would be like, what are your thoughts on that old character that was in the first Daima trailer that a lot of people were assuming to be a Namekian? So,
I think
any thoughts?
that's the person that's gonna create the. I think that's the
I
person.
think he is the conspirator after all. Yeah.
I think that's the person who's gonna create this new Majin Buu. Again, you have to understand the Demon King that I mentioned in that video is not the villain of the story. There are people
Yes.
who want to overthrow him, even though he's next in line. For some reason, he is the next person to take the throne. the other demons don't like that and are going to conspire to kill him. And that's, to me, that makes them the real bad guys. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Maybe
So-
because they view him like
Star
Tony
Wars
Khan,
story in a
bro.
way.
Yeah, but they're not.
Star Wars story.
He's not paying him. I don't think the kind of money that Will Ospreay's making, bro. So. It's
So, you know, I
Mercedes.
wouldn't be surprised.
All right, so
Wouldn't be
so
surprised.
are those your final thoughts?
Yeah.
All right, brother. Thank you for stopping by, and we'll do this again sometime. I need a cigarette after that. No, JD, what are your final thoughts?
No.
What I definitely think
What?
that. Wait, can you hear me?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. He's just yelled no. I don't know why.
Well, no, I
Uh,
said that. I said that in response to what you said. It delayed for some reason.
Okay.
Okay. I was just gonna say, I think I'm pretty confident saying that the little villager characters that we saw from the Goku character trailer that they did, I think one of them is gonna definitely be like one of those accompanying characters for the journey. I also think that we might see a fusion, like some kind of Potara fusion, maybe not like a Zamasu situation, but we might see something with that since the plot device literally exists there for it. And I think you're right with the little sage, the little mage character. I think he's gonna have like the role of like Dr. Hito, where he gets he gets befriended by Goku and his friends. I definitely think you're right on that.
Yeah, because then maybe here's why I think this is important. Again, closed-minded Dragon Ball fans don't ever think about these types of things because a lot of them are fucking stupid. I'm sorry, but they are. With Goku befriending somebody in the demon realm, there may come a story later in Dragon Ball Super, or there may come a story down the road in a movie where Goku needs a favor from that guy. Goku, this new character being introduced could follow in the same line as Piccolo and Tenshinhan and everybody who and even like Dende. You know what I mean? Like characters that Goku meets that serve a purpose later. This Daima show could end up being an introduction for something new that will be used for a bigger story down the road as well. People don't think about that shit, but it's true, you know? Like that happens in Dragon Ball.
Yeah, I definitely think that stuff that happens in Daima could be used for a future arc in Super or some other property that they create.
Somebody in the chat said Gohan was forgotten. No, he's just not being shown, bro. For a reason. There has to be a reason. I just don't know what that is. All right, JD, I'm going to put... Well, actually, yeah. I'm going to put you back in the other room, and then I'm going to bring in Freddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and hope you all have a good 4th.
Of course, honey. You too. Be careful out there with the fireworks. All right, he's gone. We can talk about him. No. Let me bring
Nice.
in... Hey! You're live.
What's going on, guys?
Oh, I thought you
What's
were...
up, bro?
I thought you got nervous there for a minute, bro.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I was in mid conversation with Habuk. Sorry about that, guys.
I'm sorry. I did not mean it. I hope he's not mad.
No, he's good, man. He's good. He's good. Well, what's going on?
Steven, hold on. Well, we're talking about Daima, but actually I wanted to highlight a comment I saw. He said, a demon indeed killed Jiren's master. That's possible. I mean, there is a possibility that Universe 11 has the demon realm and that a demon was the one that killed Jiren's master, and maybe that could lead to something. You know, the thing that sucks about Toriyama dying, and I just don't know if Dragon Ball's ever going to hit the highs it could hit. What I mean is there are so many potential storylines they can do. So many potential things they can do in Dragon Ball that they haven't done, and that they haven't done, and that they could really get creative with. Like something in Universe 11 involving the demon realm. What if the demons in Universe 6 hire Hit to kill their leader? What about that for a storyline, motherfucker? You imagine
So many things they
the
can do.
Universe 6 demons
I
hire
got a
Hit
storyline for you.
to overthrow their leader, bro. Watch, some fucking what if YouTuber's gonna steal that idea, bro. Well, you know I'm right. Go ahead. What's your idea, bro?
So hold on. There's always been like the theory that Yamoshi, had gotten killed by the demon because when he died, his spirit lingered. And we know that in Dragon Ball, and when you get killed by the demon, that's
Bro,
what happens. So
if they
maybe
mention
when they
Yamoshi-
explore the demon realm, we'll find out what happens.
If they mention Yamoshi and Daima, bro, I'm gonna have a heart attack, bro. You know
I
what I'm
actually have a
saying?
theory as well.
It'll be fantastic if we do.
Does your theory involve true life, bro?
That's a story for a different time.
Okay, wait. Tuan
Mhm.
says they could have saved this concept for After Z. But how do you know that Daima isn't After Z? Like, you're. And yes, there's lots of concepts they could have saved for After Z. But maybe they got something else planned for After Z.
What about a
Listen,
Necromagin design? That's what I was thinking.
hold on, hold on. I just want to say one. I'm going to get to that in just a moment. But what I want to say was if you're one of the people that's like. If you're one of the people that's like, I guess, not happy about Daima, just watch the first episode. No one's forcing you to watch it. Watch the first episode. If it sucks, drop it. Because I'm going to predict what's going to happen. People are going to watch the first episode. Most are going to keep coming back. The rest of them are going to drop off. And then when episode 5 comes out and that little fight that I teased a year ago comes out or a few months ago comes out and it goes viral and all anybody's talking about is that fight, then they're all going to come back. That's how it usually is. Dragon Ball fans can't really stay away from Dragon Ball, even if it's Goku becoming a kid again. So you said a Necromagin?
Yeah, like the design, because you know how the little short manga that Toriyama
Of
wrote back in
course
the day,
I
the
do.
Necromagin.
Yeah.
But I was saying, what if it's the design? What if that's gonna be the other Boo? I was saying just the design concept. That would be pretty neat.
I really like the Necromagin design. Like, I really, really like it. I think the other Boo is going to look more like the Boo we already know, but maybe a different color. I could be wrong on that. I'm just guessing. However, I would like it if Toriyama and Toei put Necromagin in the Demon Realm. And you know what I'm saying? Like as a
That's what I'm
cameo. No. But you're saying if the new Boo looks like him, I think the new Boo should look different. I'm saying I would love it if Necromagin made a cameo in the Demon Realm.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I know.
I would still like to have it make him look more intimidating and such,
well,
like aspects of it.
you could, but yeah, I remember what I said earlier, bro. I said not everybody in the Demon Realm is evil. Remember I said that.
And JD made a good point earlier about the Yu Yu Hakusho comparison, because like you know how at the end of that story arc they were all fighting for the to be the king of the demons in the tournament.
Yeah.
He did make a good point.
Well, it's true, and the thing, I mean, if you watch a lot of anime, or if you play a lot of video games, especially Dragon Quest, having like demons fight over the demon throne is a storyline we've heard before. Like one of the Dragon Quest games does something somewhat similar, although I don't want to go into details, but it's similar. Like, oh, our leader's gone, now what? It's always a good idea because, like, you know, then it's like, well, what do we do? And then they end up usually fighting amongst themselves because they're all selfish, greedy, and jealous. And jealousy is the first sin. So they all want the throne. They all desire the throne. They end up destroying themselves as a result of it. But I like that. Like, it hasn't really been done in Dragon Ball. You know what I'm saying? That's why I think it's a fresh coat of paint.
When it comes to this new version of Majin Buu, is it specific? Because like we know that Majin Buu, like from a later interview from Toriyama, is that he is he existed since time immemorial, since
Correct.
the beginning of time.
So
maybe. So is it going to be like another case where maybe this newer version of Majin Buu is the type that only existed but in the demon realm? Like this is the demon realm's variation of it that somehow correlates with the creation of the universe and such. So, but did they specify as to like how they're going to essentially like get like grasp like the control of this new Majin, or did they get in? Do we have any details on like how that's going to happen? If it's just even as like an artificial version of the Majin Buu that existed specifically.
Heesh, I have to tell you about this question I just got in the chat, bro. I was asked, are you watching day one?
Of course you are. Of course you are.
And then somebody else asked, I don't know who Yamoshi is. You know, there's this thing up here called the search bar. Try it. What I don't understand about people is when people say, I don't know what blank is, when you can just you have a phone, you can Google, like you have access to this. You can look it up. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be a dick and say, well, look it up, but I'm saying like whenever I'm curious about something, like if somebody says, hey, have you ever heard of Dominique Wilkins, the basketball player? No, but I can look him up. Dominique Wilkins. That's how I am, bro. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Anyways, so
Google is an idiot's best friend, bro.
yes. Now, it's interesting because San Diego Comic-Con, yes, Google is everyone's best friend. San Diego Comic-Con is actually coming out, I think, the same exact day as Deadpool. Boy, are we going to have some shit to talk about. It's coming out the same time as Deadpool, which is the other big nerd event of the summer that I'm sure everybody here would be interested in. The Dragon Ball special booth, it doesn't say the exact time, so hopefully it won't be on that day. Hopefully it'll be on Friday. But it could be on Thursday because I'm gonna go see Deadpool on Thursday. But if I have to postpone Deadpool because I gotta cover this, I will be covering. Are you actually watching on day one? I will be covering.
I don't know if these questions are directed towards you. Like, I don't know. These are weird.
I don't know. You're right. They might not be. Where does Daima take place? Why do I get the? I made a video about this 8 months ago, and I'm still getting the same question over and over again. Should I re-upload that video with a different name, just to get the
You should
views?
answer my question.
What was your question?
The question I was asking was, if the
Sorry,
if
it's
this
funny.
new version of Majin Buu is an upgraded version of Majin Buu,
Oh,
or is the
yeah.
specific type that existed since the beginning of time, like but within the demon realm.
Could be, but also the word that was used to me was a copy of Majin Buu. Because somebody brought that up on Twitter. They're like, how could there be a Buu if there already is a Buu since the beginning of time, right? Number one, maybe Toriyama forgot that he even said that, which is possible. Or number two, this is going to be a copy of Majin Buu, not Majin Buu. So if it's a copy, then, you know, it's like a clone almost. You know what I mean? Like he created it. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Or maybe what happens is that like Fat Buu, he gets angry and then he creates another another Buu that they just take and do something with.
Dragon
another way to
Slayer
do it.
says, I think that they believe that by now you have more clarity on it. Oh, you think so? I understand the question, but no, I do. They have. Okay, I think I know what you're trying to ask. No, they have not revealed where the show takes place. When they do, I'll make a video on it though. Like that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like if that gets revealed, there will be a video made on it. That's why I'm telling people to make sure you have all notifications enabled and you stay subscribed. And if you're having problems, unsub and resub because it could happen any day now. Like I could get more answers next week or they might drop something. I mean, I think that New York Comic-Con is going to be the beginning of the real promotion. Like, I think that that's when we're going to start getting stuff every couple weeks. Like, into August, September, October. You know what I mean? The earliest this show's going to air is October. The latest is December. But I don't think it's going to go past November because Dragon Ball started in November of 84. So, it would make sense if Daima starts November of 24 or October. Which is unfortunately right when Sparking Zero comes out, so and right when Dragon Quest 3 comes out, so my life's gonna be a wreck, bro. I'm gonna have to borrow cocaine from the guy in our Discord who tried it, so I could fucking so I could get through it, bro. It's gonna be a lot, man.
We've been hungry for a long time though, so at least we're getting stuff. Look at it this way. It's been what, 6-7 years, right? Since about 7 years since Super ended, correct? 18?
That's 2018, yes. And the Super anime, and then the manga continued until I don't know.
About 3-4 months ago.
Are you gonna try to get the Deadpool and Wolverine popcorn bucket? Maybe. I don't know. That might be a good one to get. I got the Fast and Furious 10 popcorn bucket. That one was a big car. Lucky Luke says, could Goku learn magic? Yes, he could. I don't know if he will, but he could. To be honest, and I've said this before, after hearing what I heard last week, or 2 weeks ago now. No, it was last week. After hearing what I heard last week, I'm more interested in the villains of Daima than I am in the good guys. Goku's already had his arc, and I don't care about the Supreme Kai. And you might have a couple of new characters that get arcs, but I care more about the villains at this point. You know what I mean?
That is such an interesting concept, Goku using magic. I don't know why I haven't thought of that before.
DBS manga stopped March 20th. Right, it did. Can you post a link to your Discord server? No. If you want to join the Discord, you have to be a tier 2 member or higher. You can become a member by going to any video on the channel and clicking the join button. There's a video that pops up, and the video will tell you your instructions on how to become a member. When you become a member, you go to the community tab, and there you ask or you request for a link, and I will give it to you hopefully within 24 hours, and you'll be in. So that's how it works. Wasn't Daima almost called Magic? Daima was called Magic. Dragon Ball Magic is what they were going to go with until Toriyama changed the name right before. That was confirmed by Akio-san. Dragon Ball Magic was like, it was sort of a code name, but it was still the name they were going to go with until Toriyama said, let's call it Daima. And remember, Daima is like an amalgam of words, because Dai usually means great and Ma means demon. So you could actually call this show Dragon Ball Great Demon. And that's kind of a cool name, or Grand Demon. Not great as in like he's a great guy, but like Dai means grand, like Dai Shinkan, the Grand Priest, or Dai Kaioshin, the Grand Kai. Like that, you see what I'm saying? That's what Dai means. It could mean great or grand, right? So the show could be called Dragon Ball Grand Demon. Maybe it sounds too much like Grand Tour. That's the problem. That's the problem. It sounds too much like Grand Tour, even though Grand Tour is an English word and Great Demon. Well, Daima is a Japanese word, so that's the only difference. You know what I'm saying?
That's a dub reference, man.
How's that a dub reference? Grand Tour was that what it was called? Grand Tour in Japan as well. You didn't know that?
It was? No, I didn't. Okay. No. Okay. You know what? It is. It is. 100% is.
Yes, it is, bro. Go watch my.
I was
GT
thinking.
video.
I was thinking. No. The only reason why I was thinking that was because I was like you brought up Grand Tour, and I was thinking of the English dub's intro.
The song, yeah. Step into
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Grand
the song,
Tour,
the song.
Dragon Ball GT. Or however it goes, bro. That was horrible, bro. Dragon Ball GT. Goku and his friends, the sands of time. I forgot how the lyrics go, bro. Somebody in the chat knows. Somebody in the chat knows that song by heart. You know who you are. You know who you are, bro. You know that song by heart. So, Freddy, what do you want to see from Dragon Ball Daima? And also, remember, y'all, throw your theories if you want me to read them, and I'll do that. Like what you think or what you want to see. What do you want, Frederick?
Man, honestly, I just want to see the pure martial arts aspect come back, bro, which I believe is going to happen. Not just the transformations, everything like that. I just want to see pure martial arts, and you're having to figure out, like, tactics, you know what I mean? Like, tactical ways to win the fights. Personally. Because I've had enough of the transformations. They're cool, don't get me wrong, but I just want to get back to the beauty of the original Dragon Ball, man, which I believe that's what's going to happen, me personally.
Yeah, and I want Goku to learn more martial arts in the demon realm if possible. Maybe something totally new. I don't know. Bahamut, thank you. He's a frequent super chatter. He says, show name is too specific, likely to be just one arc. Possible, but remember, even if the show is more than one arc, you gotta think about this. You could have multiple arcs in the demon realm. You have to remember, the demon realm is as big as the mortal realm, except on the other side. So, at least that's what it says in the guidebooks. They may change that for Daima, because Toriyama can do whatever he wants, and oftentimes does. But as far as we know, it's not a small place. So Daima could have, like, the whole overthrowing the demon lord thing, right? That could be arc number 1. Then arc number 2 could be somebody else shows up. Like, you see what I'm saying? it could be one arc, or it could be more. I don't know. At this point, I'm not sure if it depends on how well the show does, but I have a feeling that this show will run at least a year, at least 1 year, and that after it ends, there's a possibility they could pick up Dragon Ball Super immediately after. I don't want to say that because if it doesn't happen, the haters are going to drool and make believe that I confirmed it, which I didn't. But there's a possibility that after Daima, they actually go back to Super, because those stories that Toriyama wrote and helped write for the manga, like Moro and Granola, should get television adaptations, and that will then allow them to be in future games. So here's the good news.
So this would like.
Well, hold on. Let me give. Hold on. Let me give them the good news and the bad news. Hold on. The good news is someday you are likely to get Moro and Granola animated, and you may get them in video games. The bad news is you're not going to get them in Sparking Zero. So you may have to wait for Sparking Zero 2 or whatever to play as Ultra Ego Vegeta. That's what I wanted to tell them. What were you going to say?
I was gonna say that, like, so what I was gonna confirm that you're saying that because specifically Daima's already been confirmed to be airing on Fuji TV.
We don't know the time slot yet, though.
Yeah, we don't know the time slot, but because of the fact that that they specifically want long running shows, Daima plus Moro and the Granola arcs, like, all together would make it to where we have over
2 years,
potentially plenty of episodes. Yeah, 2 years to fill in that gap that they've been needing to, because that's been the issue, is that they've been wanting to continue and such, but like Shueisha said, okay, well, stop making the anime until we make more manga, and then Fuji TV's like, oh well, we want long running shows. So it's kind of like all of them, like they're trying to, they're in a situation where they have to be able to fulfill these sorts of requirements before they're even able to continue Dragon Ball. So Daima being existing and then going on Fuji TV could be a very very good in allowing Super to come back.
He is quoting from the video I did on the channel called "Where is Dragon Ball Super? Why Dragon Ball Daima?" which goes into exactly why Dragon Ball Daima exists and why that's happening and not Super. I think that the reason as to why I think at some point they have to continue Super is because, to honor Toriyama, you obviously want Moro, Granola, Gas, Pybera to be available in video games. You want those characters to be able to be monetized and marketed. And so because of that, it's almost inevitable. And it makes sense. What I worry about more than any of that is the health of the voice actors. That I do worry about because it's taking a long time. Ant-Man...
100%.
Yes, Ant-Man said, how about magic-leveled spells, weapons, along with Goku's martial arts techniques in Dragon Ball Daima? Motherfucker's been playing RPGs, bro. That's RPG question you're asking, and I would love it. It sounds like just the fact that he's asking that question sounds like he's going to like Daima. You know what I mean? It does sound like he's going to like Daima, because Daima's going to be like an RPG. Like, it's going to have that vibe.
There's so much inspiration from Dragon Quest.
Yeah, because I'm not even sure if Goku... Here's another one. I'm not even sure if Goku knows how to fly in Daima. And some folks might get pissed off about that too, but I think that you have to understand, in GT, when Goku became a kid again, he retained his abilities and memories and shit. With Daima, I'm not sure if that's what's going to happen. I don't know, but it could be possible that when he gets cursed, because it's not a wish to the Dragon Balls that makes him a kid again, it's a curse from the demon realm. So when that happens, it could end up being a situation, and I don't know this for a fact. I could be totally wrong on this, just a theory. But it could be a situation where Goku does not know how to fly, and all he knows how to do is like the Kamehameha or something very basic, and he has to use weapons and learn magic. It's almost like hitting the reset button on Goku's to start over again, which a lot of Dragon Ball fans might not like, but I think it's exciting because now we have yet another version of Kid Goku that might learn techniques that the regular Kid Goku never knew. There's a lot of possibilities with this. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to bullshit you. Like, the information I got, I was blessed with that I put out on Tuesday, but there's a lot of possibilities. I just know that I'm looking forward to it because It's more Dragon Ball with better action, better animation. I don't know who the composer is, and the Demon Realm. Even if there's no Super Saiyan, I don't care because Super Saiyan's a cool thing, but it's not. I think too many people are brainwashed by Z, bro, and they think that everything has to be like Z. When Daima is more like OG Dragon Ball, and that's fine. Like, at least I assume it'll be like that. But the fights are gonna be better than Super. I mean. So there's a lot of unanswered questions, dude. There's a lot of unanswered questions that we don't know. So, anyways, I think it's time we get out of here. Final thoughts, Frederick?
My final thought is like kind of what you were saying earlier. We should be happy that we're at least getting a new story because, like you said, it's a completely new concept, never been done before. Like, that's the beauty of it.
We should be happy, but if it sucks, it sucks. If it sucks, I'm going to tell you it sucks, and everyone will tell you it sucks. But don't say it sucks before it comes out. That's my point. That
No,
irritates
100%.
me. We'll see.
We should
There's a
also-
lot of upside to it.
And it's literally his last work. It's his final project, and it's a passion project, man. So
Not
you
to
know he put his heart-
mention that what do you call it? I forgot what I was gonna say, bro. I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
No, you good, man. I was just gonna say, what was I saying? Dang, I lost my train of thought too.
Damn it. Not good. Not good at all, bro.
Oh, now I remember. Like I was saying, it's literally his passion project, man. So regardless, you know, he put his heart and soul into this. You know what I mean? In my heart of hearts, I believe it's gonna be good, man. I haven't seen nothing, but in my heart of hearts, I believe it's going to be good.
Yeah.
And I have a prediction as well. One more thing.
What's your
I
prediction?
believe we're gonna see the rock paper scissors technique again. Goku's gonna pull it out his pocket.
I hope so, bro.
Yeah.
I hope
I'm telling you.
I hope so, bro.
The best technique in all of Dragon Ball.
I hope so. So what's your final thoughts, Heesh, before we close out?
Honestly, dude, I'm really excited because of how much Toriyama is taking from his past works, you know, with Sandland, with Dragon Quest, and also expanding on certain questions that we had about other Dragon Ball lore in the process of doing this. I feel like, you know, like there's a formula here that's setting up for something that's gonna be grand, and yes, pun intended. And so I'm really excited for what we're going to end up finding.
Grand Demon.
Mhm.
Anyways, bro, thanks for stopping by, man. Thanks to both of you. I'm going to leave the room there. And thanks to everybody. I'll be back soon. Remember to join us on Saturday at 1 p.m. on Twitch. Revisiting Dragon Ball in HD. You won't see those episodes in that quality anywhere else. And I want you to be there with me. Take care. Have a good one.